What's up guys? So today in this video I'm going to be installing these motor mounts from Turner Motorsports and ECS Tuning. These things are sick. Like, the build quality is incredible. They're a hybrid mount, a mix between a solid and a polyurethane. Super excited to put these in the car. So originally I was planning on installing these in our E46 wide body, which I probably, well, they are going to end up in this car eventually, but I'm doing an install video on how to put them in, and I don't think it'd be fair to you guys if I tried to install it in here where I was like, oh, just take the whole car apart, reach in there and swap the mounts. So what we're going to do instead is I have this 328i here that's completely bone stock. It's in because it needs a head gasket, and then I'm going to do a couple other things to it and then sell it. But I had an idea, I might as well do the install video on this, because if you guys are doing this in your backyard with a jack and some wooden blocks, this will give you a better idea of how to do it with limited tools. I don't have the brace for the top of the engine to lift it from this point straight up, so I'll be doing it from underneath. I will show you where the mounts are and where we're gonna start. Let's jump right into this. So to start off, what you wanna do is you wanna remove the air box. I have already done that. It's two 10mm bolts here, your MAP sensor, flathead right here. Once you get that out of the way, you're good to go. Next, what you wanna do is you wanna undo your fan shroud. So come over here. Mine's a T25 Torx. Kind of Jimmy rigged. I think the guy I bought it off before me broke this. You don't have to actually remove the fan shroud, just undo it. I'll show you why later. Once that's loose and this just floats in here, you can move on to the next step. The next step is pet your dog. Hello. So after you've removed the air box, what you need to do is you need to get one of these long squiggly boys right here, and one extension, a swivel, 16mm. Turn some light on here. Go down in here, take this top 16mm nut off the motor mount. Once you have that one off, attach another fancy dancy extension. Reach down here, take this 16mm nut off. Once you have those two off, you can go underneath after you pet your other dog. Hello. You crawl under here, take this 16mm nut off using one extension, a swivel, and a short 16. You can get that off. Boom. Once you have that one out of the way, move on to this side. Same thing, extension, swivel, and 16, and undo that. Once you have all four nuts removed from the motor mounts, undo this power steering line from this bracket and swing it out of the way. Once you have that out of the way, we can move on to jacking the motor up. Now, when you jack the motor up, do it carefully. Don't put too much pressure. BMW's already leak enough oil. They don't need another hole in the oil pan. Grab your trusty floor jack. Blocks of wood. So before I continue on this video, I have to give a quick shout out to ECS Tuning and Turner Motorsports. They sent me these mounts to install, and I am super grateful for the opportunity to explain to you guys a little bit about what ECS Tuning is doing now. They're offering a lifetime guarantee, which is unheard of on car parts. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description, but basically if you have a part and it fails or it breaks or anything, you put it in a box, you send it back to them, they'll replace it. Super cool. I'm basically going to use all ECS Tuning and Turner Motorsports parts on our E46 wide body build, but as a guy working in a shop that doesn't have a whole bunch of money to just keep replacing parts, It's worth spending the money to get them from ECS or Turner Motorsports. Lifetime guarantee. I think that is sick and amazing. So shout out to them. I'll put a little bit more information here and then we'll get back into the video. I can't stress enough about how you need to be careful not to put too much pressure on that oil pan. He's not good, okay? He's not good. So you want to be gentle. Take your blocks of wood, stack them however you need to do it, and then come over here and gently push up on the oil pan. You should start to see the mount in the back there lift off, and the mount on this side start to lift off as well. You can see it's starting to loosen up a little bit. So once you have the jack in position and a little bit of pressure taken off the mounts, come up here and do a double check and make sure nothing under here is gonna get caught or damaged or wrecked when you start lifting the motor up. The reason I said loosen off the fan shroud is because the fan, when you tip the motor up, it's gonna hit this. So you want this to lift up with the motor. This is a totally different way to doing it than you normally do it. Usually what you do is you have a brace that goes across here and you hook it into here and lift the motor up this way. But not everybody in their backyard has one of those, so that's why we're doing it with the floor jack. So you gently lift up on the motor. And you'll see, as you're lifting the motor up, this mount's clear. This side's almost clear. So once this mount's clear on this side, what you gotta do is roll your butt underneath here and take it out. Man, this creeper sucks. So when you're removing the mount, let's see if I can get some good light in here for you guys so you can see this. On the driver's side, what you want to do is you want to lift it up so that the centering nut or centering stud comes out. Turn it 180 degrees and pull it out. And there she be. Then what you want to do is just slide it down through the A-arm. Then you can replace it. Boom. Same for going back in. Up through the A-arm. Put the stud, lower stud in first. Rotate it till the nub falls in the hole. And she's good to go. So once you got this side done, you're good to go. Just make sure it's positioned correctly and that the bottom stud is in the hole so that it sits flush, just like that. Now moving on to this side is kind of the same process, just a little bit easier because there's a bunch more room. You literally grab the mount, should be able to push it straight up, pull it towards the engine, just like that. Don't get your fingers caught. And then she pops right out. And there she is. Make sure when you put it back in, if you're using a factory one, you want to keep the heat shield. The heat shield is in the hole and the pin here is sitting in flush with that. Take your mount. Remember, you want to make sure these are lined up. You don't want these sitting off kilter because then when you put the motor down, it's going to be a pain in the butt. So then you start by putting the top stud in first. Once you have the top stud in, make sure that your heat shield is in position where it needs to be. Put the bottom stud in the hole, rock it around a little bit, make sure everything's settled up nice, and you're good to go. Put this 16 mil bolt back on, this 16 mil bolt, drop your engine down. Another thing when you're putting this together, make sure when you lower the motor down, you lower it down slowly and make sure that the mounts line up correctly. Sometimes they don't like to go in the hole properly. You want to make sure that they're lined up correctly. Set your motor down. Get your jack out of there. Hook your power steering line back up. Get the 4 16 mil nuts back on. Air intake on, and you're good to go. I can't get over the build quality on these things. Like, these are so sick.